What up, Sycho Nation, and welcome back to the Asylum. Now, today I'm doing something a little different to try and help out other small YouTubers. Mostly people just starting off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my settings and what I do through OBS and Streamlabs OBS to get my mic to sound the way it is and get everything set up. Because it's actually quite complicated, and I notice a lot of people have a hard time doing this. It took me months of research, so I'm going to jump into it, guys. I hope you enjoy, I hope it helps you out, and let's get into it. Guys, like I said, I'm going to take you through my OBS and Streamlabs OBS mic filter setups. I'm also going to include some tips at the end for new YouTubers to just help them out with their video editing and things that they can do to improve their videos besides just the audio. So the first thing I'm going to tell you guys to do is go to download Reaper plugins. Now you just have to type into Google Reaper plugins and it will be the first link. Just download it and let it go to the directory it needs to go to. That way Streamlabs and OBS will be able to pick them up without any difficulty. If you try and choose the destination, they actually can't pick them up and you'll put a big headache on yourself. So like I said, get those first. They will be classified in your filters as VST plugins. After you've done that, come over here to your audio mixer and this centerpiece. Now, I'm showing you on OBS while I'm recording on Streamlabs OBS, so I can actually show you the settings and fiddle with them with it being live without the complication of not being able to screw around with any of my settings while I'm recording. So you go to the cog over here on your mic, go to your filters. Now I have mine set up obviously, and I'll just go quickly through what they are, and then I'll go into more detail on how I have them set up. So first we have the refer, which is your sound cancellation. We have regate, which is your noise gate, which is a very important thing for anybody recording videos. You need a noise gate, especially if you're doing video game recordings and stuff where you're going to be constantly talking and you need it to pick up your voice and cancel it out at specific times. The equalizer is where things will get a little bit more complicated. I am going to show you on the screen what my settings are because I'm not going to read them all out. But I will put on the screen what my settings are for each one of the pieces that are in this plugin specifically. And then we have the compressor. Now the compressor is really important. It compresses your voice so you don't go too loud, you don't go too quiet. Without it, you can blow people's eardrums and never be heard. It's amazing, right? Anyway, we're going to go into the first one, and I would like to point out two things first. If you are going to use the VST plugins or Reaper plugins, you need to stick to that exact plugin on everything. Don't try and mix and match because it gets really hard for OBS to go through it, and it can actually muddy up what the system sound or what you sound like. The second thing is, if you are going to use my setup, you have to have it in the exact right order, as OBS and Streamlabs OBS takes the order into account. So fiddling around and moving any of these around will actually alter the effect that you're going for. Anyway, on to this. So the first one, like I said, is your noise cancellation, okay? So because I'm using Streamlabs right now, I will show you what this does. So first off, you want to go into here and you want to go down to subtract. So you go to mode, subtract. Click on it, make sure it's there. Now this right here, the little box over here, you want to click on that to make a noise profile of noises that you want canceled out. So I'll show you what that is, and I won't talk throughout it very much, but it will give you an idea of what it does. So the red line is showing what see what I mean? This is why I didn't want to talk. The red line shows what you want canceled out. That's all the noise and all the sound that you want gone. Like a dog barking, for instance. Anyway, once you have it, once you have your noise profile, you click on that again and it's permanently saved. Now, if I was to record on OBS right now, none of my voice would be heard, period, because it's canceling out exactly my volume and everything like that. So there would be nothing to hear. So when you do it, you want to be in a quiet room with as little sound as possible. And if you have problems with your mice clicks or your keyboard sounds or your fan, those are the sounds you want there. And hit your keyboard a couple times. Don't do it roughly. Do it as if you were gaming. Click your mouse a couple times. 10 seconds. Click off of it, and you're done. That's all you need is a 10-second sound profile. You don't want it to be a loud room due to the fact that if you cancel out too much noise, it will start canceling out parts of your voice, which can be a huge complication if you're trying to talk and get your point across or anything to that degree. So make sure it's in a quiet room, 10-second noise profile, and try and cancel out as little as you can with making the sounds you want gone to disappear. It's not a fix-all, but it will help. The next one is the noise gate. Now, a noise gate is important because it tells your mic or the system when to pick up your voice and when to mute out your voice. So, with the way it is right now, as you see on my little bar down over here, sorry, it's not picking up my voice very much because the noise cancellation is canceling it out. So, what you do for this is I'll give you my settings for this, but you want it set up so to the point where when you stop talking, there's no sound. When you start talking, you want it to initiate immediately or very soon after, because you don't want to be talking and be a few seconds behind what the sound is, or a few seconds ahead of what the sound is. So if you set it up properly, your sound will come out really good. So my settings for this are: the pre-open is 0 milliseconds. The attack is 3 milliseconds. That's how fast it initiates to my voice. As soon as I start talking, 3 milliseconds later, it picks up my voice. The hold is 0 milliseconds because I don't need a hold. Release, 200 milliseconds. I wish I could go into more detail and into greater depths about what each one of these actually does, but I only have so long, and I don't want to turn this into a 45-minute video of going into really in-depth things. If you really need to know, there is some great videos on YouTube. I will link the one that I use personally in the description down below. So next, we have the Equalizer. This can get complicated. Now, I did have, like I said, I had my wife's father come in and actually set this up for me for my voice, and it actually matches up really well to to the YouTube video that I was just talking about, that I'm going to link in the description. It actually matches up almost exactly is what he set it up to, which was to me really weird. Anyway, for this, I am going to put the numbers that I used for each one of these bands. I'll put them right up here. You'll see all of them. The ones I want to mention specifically are the first one, which is set to a high pass, and you want that one to be on high pass, and I believe the fourth one is a high shelf, so you want that set to high shelf. You want 10 bands in total. You can do more, and you can get super complicated with it, but 10 bands is a good starting point. It's a good setup. They will start you off with 3. All you have to do to add more is you go down to the bottom left corner and hit add band until you have 10, and then just start typing in the numbers that you see up here into it. It's a good starting area for everybody. It might be the perfect setup for other people, just like it's the best setup I can get for myself. Now, I could fiddle and probably make it sound better, but because I enjoy the way it sounds, I leave it as it is. So once again, numbers up here. If you're wondering what those weird numbers up there are, the numbers are just up here, and I will leave them there through this entire little area. You can set it up that way, and then just make sure that you take the time to fiddle with it if it doesn't suit your voice exactly. It's very important to make it match for yourself, but this is a very good starting area for anybody trying out, especially guys, because, you know, more bass to our voice, and this setup is very good for guys. It's very good for girls too, but it's definitely more, you know, I'm a guy, it's more suited specifically at guys with more bass in their voice. But like I said, you just got to do a little bit of messing around and you'll get it set up really nice. If you see right now, it's actually not registering anything I'm saying on here. Normally there'd be a yellow bar, but because, once again, I canceled out my entire voice during the reefer, it's not picking up anything. Alright? But there will be a bar and it will show you where you're peaking and everything like that. You can actually set it up to where you want. So the last one is the compressor. Now, like I said, the compressor takes your voice, let's say in this range, and it will condense it down so it only goes from here to here. So if you go too high, or too loud, let's say, it actually condenses it down so it's not an ear-splitting screech. If you go too quiet, it actually will pick up your voice and allow people to hear it. It's a very, very handy thing, especially for people that, like me, play horror games or, you know, play Fortnite or something and get rage mad and screaming at shit. This is very good for just anybody that does stuff like that. If you really don't have a problem with your voice going way up too loud or way too quiet during your recordings, this may not be necessary for you, but with the new settings of the other plugins, it might become a necessity for you. So I'm just going to give you my settings for this because I've explained it the best that I can for you right now. So my decibel level on the main part, which is this bar here, I have it set to -24. Now, the pre-comp I have at 0, attack 2, and release 30. I never mess around with any of these because it gets really complicated. I have done research into it and it can make your voice better and it can do a bunch of really cool stuff for you. But personally, I don't see a need to use it because A, I don't do singing, and if you have seen any of the videos that I've done singing, I shouldn't do singing. Let's put it that way. So those are the plugins, guys. Those are the filters that I use to make myself sound more natural. These won't work for everybody, but they're a good starting point. I can't stress that enough. If you're just going to copy and paste, you can try and see if it works, and if it does, good. If it doesn't, well, at least you have a starting base to figure out where your voice needs to be. Like I said, now, I did want to give a few small tips to new YouTubers. And because I watch a lot, and I mean a lot of small YouTubers, I spend about 4 hours, 5, maybe more a day, up to a maximum of 12, running small YouTubers and checking out their channels and putting comments the best I can to try and help them without being insulting. And it can get complicated at times because when your voice is 10 seconds behind what your lips are doing, it's really hard not to call you out on it. You want to set up everything so that your mic picks up everything at the right time. One thing I want to see new YouTubers and people just starting to grow their channel start doing and start learning is how to properly intro a video and how to properly get stuff really going for them. So, first off, nobody wants to see you going into the settings of any game for any reason whatsoever. There is no reason to have that in the video after you're done editing. And I'll tell you now, as somebody that even watches a lot of small YouTubers, the number one thing I hate seeing is the settings in the very beginning of the video. Like, if it's in the beginning of the video and that's the first thing I'm seeing and you're just muttering to yourself about setting stuff, chances are I'm going to click off of your video because you haven't edited out. You didn't take the time to make your video look good. So I'm not going to take the time to view your video. This is a huge thing because if it's in the beginning of the video and you're in your settings and you're just doing whatever, nobody's going to watch after the first 10 seconds. That is your key window for people to watch. 10 seconds you have to capture their attention. So be it taking a clip from the video itself or doing your own little intro, whatever, anything is better than you being on the settings. Anything. You want something that'll grab their attention in that first 10 seconds, so they're going to be like, that's a game or that's a person I want to watch. This is a video game I want to watch this person play, or this is a cool tutorial I want to see. It's very important in that 10 seconds, so don't waste those 10 seconds and do it on a piece because you didn't feel like editing. Don't do that. That is a bad choice, and it will actually hurt your channel in the end. You want that 10 seconds to grab people. Edit out pieces that are not important, including settings, because nobody needs to see what you're doing. Really, nobody does. Nobody needs to know if you have the best computer in the world and you're setting everything to ultra high, or if you have a really crappy computer and you're setting everything to low just to be able to play, okay? 10 seconds you have to grab them. Grab them. Take pieces of your video. Do an awesome intro. Do something. Not the settings. Any part of the video, take out the settings, just delete them. Delete it and just have your video come together. Another thing is, make sure your audio's okay. I know I have stressed audio on the mic and everything, but make sure your lips and your voice on the recording are matching up, because when you say something and I hear it and 10 seconds later your lips are moving to what you said 10 seconds ago, it's really distracting. And it takes away from me watching the game that you're playing and watching you, because now I'm trying to figure out, when did you say that? In which part of the game was that an actual relevant statement? Or in which part of the video is it a relevant statement? I'm sorry I keep going to gaming, guys, because that's what I do. Sorry. Another thing, if you're going to use green screens, make sure to have them properly lit. Be it from the back, which is preferable. You don't want the color reflecting off of you like it does me. I don't have mine set up the perfect way, but I also don't have room to do it. So I make sure mine is well lit, which is why my face looks kind of blown out, but I will fix that later on when I'm able to move stuff. So make sure it's set up and you're not this grainy, weird thing, and never wear the color that your green screen is. If your green screen is green, guess what color you're not going to wear while you're recording? That's right. You're not going to wear green, because then you disappear. I have a blue screen, because my chair is green. It has green on it and my chair would just disappear, or parts of it would. So now I have a blue screen behind me, and yeah, I got this weird kind of aura of blue going on, but it's a lot better than what it could be. And I'm a perfectionist, so I'll be working on it thoroughly until that's actually completely gone. So make sure if you're going to use the green screen, your computer can handle it, because it does take up a lot of your graphics card to run that type of stuff. On top of, make sure that you have it set up properly. There is a lot of dials and a lot of ways to actually set it up so it looks good. Just make sure that you do that, or just don't use a green screen. It's okay if you don't have a green screen. Up until about 2 weeks ago, I did not use one. And now I'm using one because I have the space to have one behind me and be properly lit, because I'm no longer in a bedroom. But if you just have your bedroom behind you, nobody's really caring. If you're embarrassed about your bedroom, then just clean it. Nobody cares what's in the background of your video of you if they're enjoying your content. They don't care if you're sitting in the front of a green screen or if you're sitting in the front of a door. Nobody really cares. They care when you start degrading the quality of your video because you look super grainy. That's when people start caring. That's not to say don't do it. There is some channels that have grainy green screens, but there's not a lot they can do about it. I'm not downing people that do that. I mean, I get it. You're in the middle of setting up properly. You're trying out new things. It happens. Just, if you're going to do it, always try and make it better. Always try and make it better. Improve with every video. I know I'm terrible at these things, guys. I know. I'm sorry for ranting and raving. The last thing I really want to instill in a lot of people, because I know a lot of people starting YouTube as of late have been starting for the reason of making money, which there's nothing wrong with that. Don't let anybody tell you there's something wrong with that. You want to make money? Cool. This is a business adventure. You can do that. But I lost my train of thought. But this is supposed to be for fun too, guys. Do not wreck yourselves over creating content. If you need a break, take a break. Burnout is a real thing. It happens to the best of the best, the biggest channels, the smallest channels. Burnout happens. Blocks happen. Take your time. This is not a sprint. This is a freaking marathon. And if you start off trying to run as hard as you can, you're just going to kill yourself. If you're feeling burnt out, people will notice it in your videos. You want a reference? Go back to my Toasty playthrough and watch that video, because during that time I was starting to hit a burnout. And I didn't stop. And then I ended up crashing hard and ended up having to take 3 months of my time off in order to recoup. It's better to take a week than it is to take 3 months because you pushed yourself too hard, or you just don't have ideas. Ideas come naturally. You can't force them. And I know I keep going back to gaming, that's what I do, but I am saying this for every type of content creator. If you feel like you can't create, don't. The quality of your content is affected by your mood. If you're in a good mood, your quality of content will reflect that. If you're feeling burnt, the quality of your content is going to be like, yeah, guys, I feel like doing this makeup tutorial today. It doesn't draw people in. People want the bubble, they want the energy, they want you at your best. Don't be afraid to take a break. Have fun with YouTube. Meet new people, collab. This is what it's all about. You are meant to make friends. You are meant to do crazy things with other people that you never would have met if it wasn't for YouTube. I can name four people right now that I would have never met without YouTube. Sub-Zero MNX, Godzilla. Sorry, I have a really hard time saying that one. Hussman Gaming and Rockstar Pool 69. I would have never met these guys, and I would have probably never have seen their channels, but they are amazing content creators, and we get along really well on a personal level outside of YouTube. But a lot of our interactions are through YouTube and talking about different strategies and stuff like that. They are great people, and I would have never known they even existed if I hadn't started YouTube and hadn't started doing the things that I like doing now. So have fun with it, guys. Don't be afraid to get out there and meet new people. It is a community. It's not just you for yourself. This is a community project. If you're a gamer, it's a lot easier to collab with people, and I understand that. It's a lot easier to be like, hey man, I got this multiplayer game, let's play together, and match up your times. That's a lot easier than, say, a makeup tutorial channel that right now they can't even meet up, so they have to do their tutorials for collabs together over live streams or doing video recordings side by side and sending each other copies for the channel. I mean, it's possible. It sucks with this whole thing going on, but it is possible. I'm sorry for all the dings. Those are the guys that I was just talking about. They can be really talkative on Facebook at times. Anyway, have fun, guys. That is the main thing. If you're not having fun, you're not doing this right. As much as it's a business and you are like the mom and pop shop competing against the Walmarts, it's possible. But they didn't get to that spot without having fun, meeting new people, and collabing, just having a good time. They didn't get there by themselves. This is working together to build ourselves up. If you don't believe that, take a look at Jacksepticeye meeting Markiplier for the first time before they ever knew each other, before Jack even had a huge channel, before he was a relevant name in YouTube gaming. He met Markiplier and told him he would game with him one day. And now look at them. They are two of the biggest gamers out there. Well, okay, not the two of the biggest, but they are two of the biggest. But they sit up there in the top ranks of YouTube, and they're good friends. And like, they met through YouTube by YouTube at a meeting for YouTube. See what it is? They met and they became friends. Now they do not as many anymore, but they do videos together. They still talk, you know. It's important to make these connections. You put in, as much as you put in, you get back. So if you're collabing with lots of people, the chances are those people and their viewers will see you and they will come to your channel to at least check it out. One other thing, sub for sub doesn't work. Stop trying to do it. It does not work. They will delete your channel. Just stop. Just stop. Alright guys, sorry about the last part. Anyway, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Have yourselves a great night. Stay psycho.